Erik, are you up for a little riddle?
Always up for a little riddle.
All right, so hear me out. What has 6 legs, 3 brains, and 1 camera?
I can only guess.
It's this episode of the PodMax podcast. We are going old school with the way we used to, right here, right now on the show.
Welcome to the PodMax podcast.
I'm sure that was easy to figure out, but how exciting is this? Not only are we going old school, meaning probably 6 months and prior ago, we used to do this one camera or actually multi-camera shot for the show. And you can see on the screen, if you're tuning into the video portion of this episode, we have somebody with us, Erik. It's Rachel.
Hi.
Just Rachel.
Just Rachel.
What's doing, Rachel?
I'm glad to be here in person with people. What a treat.
Yeah. Now you live
Not
in
hibernating and
Yeah, exactly.
Hibernating and hiding.
hiding. Yes.
Well, we've
Can
all
see
been,
your faces. It's nice.
I know.
Cheers to that.
We're in Trenton, New Jersey. Of course, we've been meeting with Rachel virtually, and she's in Pennsylvania. Now, I admit, even these East Coast tri-states, I don't really know geography. So she's like, I'm in Pennsylvania, but I'm actually 15 minutes away.
Not
I'm like, Pennsylvania, is
even.
that close?
Right across the little pond there.
She's closer than you are, I'll tell you that.
I am.
Yeah, I'm 35 minutes away from the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm right in Yardley, not too far.
That's good.
Go to the Trenton Thunder all the time.
go.
Yeah.
I get that.
So according to the pen that Rachel gave me right here, it says so right here. It says
It does.
Rachel, and then it says voice actor.
Yes.
You are a
Mhm.
voice
I'm a
actor.
Voice actor. Yes, I do all kinds of different commercials. I actually have done a couple of intros to podcasts. A lot of YouTube videos, explainer videos. I've done an audiobook. Anything where you would hear me and not see me.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff I do.
Mm.
Yeah, but now you actually get to see me. This is what I look like.
Exactly. You're here to be seen, Rachel, not only heard. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having
And
me.
we're excited to have you in to talk about our 3 segments,
Yes.
which we did discuss in our sort of preliminary meeting prior to
I'm
the show.
excited.
That's right.
Yeah, so we're really excited to have you here to be a part of it. But before we get into our first segment, I just wanted to talk a little bit about an opportunity for you, the viewer and the listener, to meet Rachel, potentially meet us, get into the same room virtually for now at our PodMax mixers. So we have something that happens every single Friday at 11 Eastern time.
Yes, it does.
It's called our mixer, and it's an opportunity for the community to get together, hold each other accountable, share ideas. So you can go to podmax.co/mixer to join in on the fun. Just sign up. It takes 2 quick strokes of the keyboard, and then you're in, and we will see you hopefully on one of these Fridays. So
Yeah. What we've been and we've been doing these a few times already, and I mean they really do just get better and better. What we've been focusing on, it just always seems to peak its head, is the topic of pricing. And I just made a post on Facebook talking about this because it's so intriguing how no matter who you are, no matter what level of success, it seems like that pricing your products and services just kind of eats at you one way or another. Personally, I can speak that, it's been something that I've, grappled with for years. Admittedly, because I had low self-esteem, low self-worth, that whole thing. So I'm like, here, can I have $7 for this? And it's like, geez, you're going to attract nobody. You find in your industry, Rachel, that this is a topic?
It is, absolutely. I mean, there are a lot of different things for voice actors where it's a pay to play if you don't have an agent, and you don't even need an agent these days because of technology and different platforms that are out there. But if you want to be in the game, you got to have some skin in the game. So, it's one of those things, but it's you get a return on your investment right away for anything that's worthwhile. So
yeah. So I bring this up because no doubt we'll be talking about pricing in part at Friday's Mixer, which is podmax.co/mixer to RSVP. What's up?
Yeah, so our mixers, and not to get too detailed about this just yet, but we do theme every mixer based off one of our core values. So I believe, Josh, we're going to be talking about family values. We talked all last month in the month of April about results and being results driven.
Wonderful.
So this Friday, we will be chatting about family values, core values, whether that's personal or business, and we will carry that theme throughout this month of May. So join in and get to learn more about the community, especially when we start talking about each other's lives and family and how it all incorporates into your work-life balance.
That should be fun. I'm sure
critical.
people can dive into that with completely different perspectives and life experience, right?
So true.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's hop to it. Let's jump into our first segment, Pro in the Know.
Pro in the Know.
We didn't have the wonderful Rachel doing voiceover at the time.
Who did that?
You're looking at. Look through the glass. Look through the glass.
Pro
the looking
in
glass.
the know.
That is
I like
him.
that. That was very catchy.
It was our monster truck.
I like
Our foiled attempt at monster trucking.
I like it. It was catchy. Good job. Good job.
Yeah.
We're very aware, though.
This
But thank
segment is going to excite me because of my acting and film roots. What's going on here, Erik?
So this is the first time this has ever happened to the podcast community and industry.
Something happened?
Something happened. Brand spanking new. And you figured this would have happened at some point, but podcasts are sort of a thing now and people are paying attention. So the very first major film festival is going to feature podcasts and audio programming.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Which festival is this?
It's going to be the Tribeca Film Festival.
Wow,
which
one of my favorites.
we
Look
all
at
know and love.
Tribeca, paving the
Yeah,
way,
exactly.
opening doors. I love it.
So what does this mean? That they're featuring podcast programming in
They
their
are.
agenda?
But let's poke fun at De Niro for a second. Do you think he knows what a podcast
He's learning. He's learning. They're schooling him. Yeah.
Exactly.
My De Niro
exactly.
face.
I love the De Niro.
Not
That's pretty good.
No, that's terrible.
I'm
It's
impressed.
terrible.
I'm impressed, folks.
Yeah.
So
Not
yeah.
only a voice actor.
But the world premiere of 12 fiction and nonfiction podcasts. That's what they're going to be doing. And then they're also, so it's happening. It's live, folks. So get excited. It's going to be the first live film festival. Everybody's claiming, I'm the first real estate conference. I'm the first podcast conference. We're going live. We'll do it live. And it's going to go there. So so it's June 9th through 20th, the Tribeca Film Festival.
In person.
In person. There's going to be a podcast presence, which we're excited about. So they're going to have panels that are going to include shows and world premieres of these shows. Radiolab, More Perfect, Dolly Parton's America.
Dolly.
Yeah,
Everything
hello, Dolly.
she touches is gold.
She's
Go,
a vampire.
Dolly.
She doesn't age. Yeah. But so what do we think of this, folks?
You know what I love about this? Prior to this, we all know, I mean, ever since my my father called me up, I mean, God bless him, he's going to be 78 this summer.
Wow.
And he's just, he's starting to know because, his news programming, all of the hosts on all the channels have their own show. So he's starting to get it. He's like, hey, this thing you're doing is quite real. It's quite legitimate. Now I'm still trying to break through to my.
You made it, son.
I know, exactly. Like you're onto something.
Your
here.
hobby's not a hobby.
I wish I could say the same for my dermatologist. Again, I had it checked out. It's totally clean. So we can move past that. But my dermatologist, he's like the living adult version of Mario and Luigi's kid. I mean, he's just like, he's got the accent and the Italian. Can I say that? I'm sorry.
Yes.
I need to cut that. But that's him, right? So yeah, I love him. And if I'm being even more transparent, I went to this doctor when I was 14 years old because I had a face like a pepperoni pizza.
No.
Yes, I did
Oh.
this thing. Yes, thank God I got through it. And he was my dermatologist. Now I still go to him and he's still like Mario meets Luigi, but I digress. So he's like, so Josh, and I won't do the accent. Okay. There's not going to be any accent.
Hey,
here.
Josh.
He says, so what do you do these days? What do you do for work?
I don't know.
Now, granted, I always struggle with this, even, to anybody. So I'm like racking my brain as he's like, scanning my nude body. And I'm like, okay, where do I go with this? Yeah. And I'm like, where do I go with this? And I say, and I just go broad. I say, I'm in the podcast space. And without missing a beat, he says, what's that? And I'm like, oh, he doesn't know. And then I had to sort of try to school him and educate him on what a podcast is. So he still doesn't know, but my father does. All that to say, now we have someone like Tribeca Film Festival who's taking it fully mainstream. But even prior to this, what I absolutely love are how many shows have gotten like turned into a Netflix special or gotten an HBO deal. That kind of like creative entertainment interaction really excites me.
And it's still debatable whether Robert De Niro knows what a podcast is. So.
Did you Google? You Googled?
No, I was trying to. I always struggle, with
do
Facebook and trying to share this post. So if you're watching this, please like, please share. If you're listening to the podcast, please subscribe, rate and review. We'd love and appreciate you for that. But yeah, so what's next for this Tribeca Film Festival world premiere of podcasting and doing all that wonderful stuff at a film festival? I think live events, number one, is fantastic, right? Let's do this. Let's get back to what we know and love, is meeting people and rubbing elbows. And then, the live podcasting aspect, I think, is really cool. Before 2020, Kevin Smith of Mallrats fame, right? All you Jersey fans.
There's only one Kevin Smith.
Some people don't know who he is. But
and I love that you give him. Yeah, I was gonna say Mallrats is your first.
Yeah, it's Menlo Park, bro.
Over Clerks. Yeah,
Menlo Park.
Fair enough.
So he bought a movie theater, an old rundown movie theater in Red Bank, New Jersey.
Oh,
right. That's
he
like
did.
a stone's throw away.
And he called it the Smodcast Theater.
And what does he do?
And I felt so bad because that's where he was going to hold live podcasting. And all the fans in the community were going to come and watch him record shows. And of course, that all went on pause last year. So I'm looking forward to live podcasting. I'm looking forward to us hitting the road. We talked about getting an RV and outfitting it, with all of the trims and all the stuff.
Honest, isn't it? I mean,
it's so cool.
You put yourself out there like that. I love that.
Yeah,
I think people want
chills.
that transparency, to really not have something edited. I'm sure it's scripted and they know where they're going to go, but that's cool.
But there's an energy that you get from people watching live in front of you. Josh and I have done it here in the studios where we had an audience watch, and there's a different dynamic, definitely. And it's a performance thing. You guys appreciate that. So it's cool.
Yeah.
Rachel, you appreciate performance, right? It's your middle name, right?
It's funny. I haven't performed in front of an actual audience in years, but there is something so thrilling about that. Knowing what works, knowing what doesn't work. When you do something and you're expecting that immediate feedback, and then you don't get that from the audience, it's like, okay, thank you very much. I know that did not work at all. And then vice versa. Sometimes the things that you don't think are going to work, you have that energy where you're like, oh, okay, they like this. I'm going to keep going with this.
Yeah.
So
that instant feedbacks, so you can't replicate. I mean, we try to do that with chat and stuff, but something about live is just fantastic.
So I think the whole wrap up and benefit here is for the industry. There are no limits. There are no real parameters into what's possible, what you can create and produce, and where this can go. I mean, the partnerships, like I said, Netflix buying the rights to some podcasts and turning them into other kinds of specials and forms of media. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. I mean, how exciting would that be? You think you're just doing your podcast and then it leads on to, I don't know, who would play you?
Yeah.
What actor? I don't know.
Seth Green.
What? No.
I'm joking.
No. But I mean,
from the 90s.
Endless.
It's so many options. And
exactly. It's fantastic. And we're going to move on to our next segment. Rob, hit us up with Build It and They Will Come.
Build it and they will come.
That was more ethereal sounding.
Oh,
still Rob though.
What I like about this segment today is there's a little bit of a literal nature to it, because we're going to talk about what we have physically built here and who came. Rachel's here. So
what am I doing here?
Yeah. Where are we?
What's going on?
So what's the purpose here, Erik? What are we talking about? Building a space, and in every sense of the word, right?
Yeah. The idea of building it and they will come, really, and I was telling Rachel about this earlier, is for those fans of Field of Dreams, Kevin Costner movie, there's literally a saying in there where they whisper in his ear while he's walking a cornfield in his backyard, build it and they will come. And he's like, shut up. Who's that? He's like, honey, do you hear that? And it was really like the spirits within his life and the love of baseball and his father and all these folks telling him, build a field, build a baseball field, and people will show up, people will come. So that's where this all comes from. We build and we create brands, and we continue to push those brands and our beliefs and our core values out there, and people come, whether it's physical, whether it's through the audio experience, whether it's through watching it right now with us here on Facebook or YouTube. We build and they come. And Rachel is here as a result of us, right? From the mountaintops, from the megaphone, hey, we're here. You want to come and participate and have fun?
Yeah, it's kind of a cool thing. You had put something out there, and a friend had sent it to me and said, "Hey, check this out. Check this company out. This looks pretty neat." We talked, and I feel like you can get so much based on somebody's energy, based on how excited they are about what they're building. Sometimes people build things and you're like, "Okay, well,
Good for you.
that's nice."
Yeah.
But so I was just intrigued by all your ideas and where you're planning on taking this brand in this industry. And I mean, really, we're not even in the teenage stages of podcasting. I mean, this is still in its infancy. And I honestly, to be transparent, I don't know as much about podcasting, but I know people, I know relationships, I know voice editing, audio, and my company, I'm a voice and acting coach, and then also a singing teacher for kids. So the relationship aspect is very important to me. So I loved your energy, and who knows, I don't really know what I'm doing here, but I'm having fun. I'm interacting and learning. And I think saying yes to things that maybe are scary, maybe you don't fully know, but dipping your toe in the water and then fully diving in are totally different things. You can just peek, but that wouldn't have led me to actually come here. So
what I love is that you've said, you've admitted, podcast industry, not really knowledgeable. But there's so many overlaps into what we are doing here and what you do as a voice artist.
Absolutely.
Microphone, right?
Microphones.
Performance, speaking, communicating, all of it, sharing a message. It's there.
It is. And a lot of times, I think we were talking about this before. Sometimes it's not what you say, but it's how you say it. So there's so many things that go into, overlap with what I do and with what you guys do. And I'm just excited to see the possibility and potential, right?
This is great. Exciting. Folks, here's the cool thing that you're witnessing right here is because of this day and age of documenting our journey, there's literally videos out there of Josh and I meeting for the first time. And it was on a podcast and there was video involved.
Was there music like?
But there was awkward handshaking and hugs. But the idea that you're here and this could potentially be something like, we look into the, from the future back and be like, oh, look, Rachel's first appearance. And then that's kind of cool how that happens. But that's what we're all about.
Or not. You could be like, there's that girl, Rachel.
Who was she again? Let me look at the pen.
Yeah.
Look at you like the pen.
You remember the pen? But give me the pen. All right, take the pen. That's what it was. Take the pen.
Gosh. No, that's cool. Thanks for saying that.
But it's really cool because I love being able to document the journey and being able to meet people through this vehicle. And what I liked, we were talking earlier about how the audio experience in podcasting has evolved so much, especially over the past year and a half, where video has become essential and critical to promoting and distributing and creating content. And if you're one of the old school podcasters that were like, I don't take video, I got a face for radio. And it's like, well, you're not evolving into the new media. You need to sort of think about what people are expecting now. And then,
voice. The voice of that person.
When anybody says that comment, it's always that voice. Because when I say that, you got a face for radio, baby.
I love that.
Like,
Becky.
That's where we go.
My name's Larry, by the way. Yeah, Becky.
But I think there's a reason for that because after this year, we were on social media, we were connected more than ever, but not connected at all. I think people need to see other human beings. We need to see the body language. We need to see, maybe if you do have a face for radio, maybe your listeners also have a face for radio. So they want someone like them who they can connect to, someone who they would have a cup of coffee with, because like that's what people are doing, right? They're inviting you when they're watching you, they're having coffee with you. They're part of the experience along for the ride. So they want people like them. They don't want, some perfect little.
But I think, though, it is an opportunity for growth and learning new skill sets. So if there's someone out there who's like, I'm a podcaster, I don't do video, or I don't like video, or I'm not going to upgrade my equipment, this is an opportunity for you to learn a new skill set. Like Josh and I are always training our community on how to show up, especially if the camera's on, and how the technique of turning it up to an 11, like the energy level may feel unnatural to you. It may feel unnatural to like smile while you're talking, or even if no one's watching, you're doing voiceover. I'm sure Rachel can relate, like smile while you're recording something.
That's a thing. You can actually hear smiles. Exactly. You really can. You can hear in singing, in speaking, if I'm just talking to you like this, like, hey guys, how's your day today? What are you doing this weekend? Versus, totally. Hey guys, how are you? What are you doing this weekend? I mean, you can feel that. And it might, you don't have to be like guy smiling like a nut the whole time, but smiles are attractive. People want to be around happy people.
Exactly.
And it still fascinates me what you said, Rachel, about what got you to this moment in person with us. Not only saying yes and being open to yes, but you're like, when we first spoke, you felt the energy. And when we first spoke, it was virtual. And I'm shocked that and I've had many, many instances, even in text messages, you can feel a connection and an energy. It's absolutely wild and crazy. I just love that whole premise of life, because I'll go there. We are energetic beings, and that's all it is, right? It's just an exchange of energy in everything we do. You can feel it through text. You can feel it through email. You can feel it through video chat. You can feel it in person.
Yeah,
absolutely. But the point is to actually do it. We can't just be, sitting inside and not having those experiences. You have to put yourself out there. And I think a lot of times people, speaking on the whole build it and they will come, maybe you have an idea for a show. Like I have ideas all day long, but it's those ideas that you actually act on. Because there's nothing worse than listening to something or seeing a company and you say, man, I had that idea. Why didn't I do it?
Yeah.
So taking things to the next step and just going for it, just doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. We're going to move on to our final segment of the show. Time flies here.
I'm excited to hear this one.
It is. Here you go. Have you ever?
Have you ever?
Now, Rachel, for 10 points, that is, in fact, the voice of one of us in the room.
Oh.
Who do you say?
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun.
it's
Erik.
It is Erik. It is Erik.
It was supposed to be you. You didn't want to do it.
No,
Come on.
He asked me like 3 weeks. He's like,
Scaredy
do it. I was like, I'm not going to do it.
I'm not going to do it. Meanwhile, if you listen to the earlier episodes of PodMax
Before we
podcast,
had
you would go, have you ever? And
before we had the audio branding there. So this is a segment where we take something on either side of the mic and debate it, unravel the topic. Today, it's, have you ever listened to an hour-plus podcast all in one sitting?
And if you have, when's the last time you did that? 'Cause I'm sure some people who got into podcasting and listening to podcasting, that's how it starts, like me. And then eventually you just find other things that are quicker hits, easy to digest, bite-sized chunks.
Speaking of easier to digest bite-sized chunks, the reason we're asking this is because the other side of that coin, we seem to be having conversations more and more often where there are 10 and 12-minute episodes of great shows that we're experiencing. We'll give a shout out to our colleague Esar Midas, who just launched his new show, and he launched with 8 episodes. Erik and I had the luxury and pleasure to be part of that launch, where he recorded. The end result right now is a 12-minute interview with each of us. But Erik, you reminded me that it didn't start that way.
His podcast didn't start that way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that 12 minutes was taken from.
Right. Well, I know he's doing a launch strategy, and this is a really, really clever idea for anyone who's starting a podcast. So I'm going to break it down really quickly. So you're
break it down.
ESAR invested a lot of money into this strategy. So if any of you are trying to implement this, you're getting it for free. So take some quick notes.
You mean by hacking his strategy and looking at it?
Yes, exactly. So he recorded 8 to 10 episodes, possibly 12, of guests of people that he knows and loves and will help support and promote the podcast during the hard launch. So quick difference between soft and hard launch in the marketing world. Soft launch is when you sort of put something out there, you don't say anything to anyone and you kind of test it and it's quiet. Hard launch is when you promote before something happens.
Got it.
And you, months, weeks, years in advance, and there's all this momentum. And then there's the date, right? It's here. So he picked May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. Very nice.
Exactly.
And clever, right? We're all geeks here, so we appreciate.
Are we?
So maybe not you. Do you know who? Let's see. No, anyway.
I know.
So he recorded all these episodes. It felt like 6 months ago.
Yeah, it was.
And he decided to do, like you said, Josh, interview about 45 minutes to an hour long, but then stopped the camera, stopped the tape, and said, let's record another mini episode summarizing what we just talked about.
That's right.
And I'm going to release those as part of the launch strategy, all
Little
8
teasers.
to 10 episodes. Yeah, teaser episodes,
Cool.
but unique because it's not part of the actual full-length interview, which I thought was brilliant. I totally forgot about it until you brought it up.
Yep.
So it's so appreciated for me anyway, because I get to listen to something on the move, on the go. You know, I'm making my breakfast. I'm getting in the car. It's a 20-minute drive for me to get to work. You know, I just need something short and sweet. And I appreciate content like that. I've been listening to the Blinkist app, which I highly recommend, that takes books, audiobooks, which I love Audible as well. So shout out to both of those. They're not sponsors, by the way. But they should be. They should be. So Blinkist takes books, and compresses them down to 9 to 12 minutes for you to just get the gist of it and outline it and listen to it 100 times. I listen to Blinkist for books that I've already read to get a refresher.
So
which is cool.
like the Cliff Notes.
Of yes,
okay.
But
that was me in high school.
But it's someone like you that's reading and sharing the ideas behind the book.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's quick, easy hits, just like this mini episode that ESAR launched. So there's many different ways to sort of go about it. Maybe you have a long form podcast that's an hour to or 45 minutes long, and
you could distill 10 or 12 minutes from that. Rachel, I know you were telling us how you prefer. Talk to us about the difference in ways people learn, because Blinkist, you could either read the summary, you could listen to the summary,
or you could do both.
Yes.
I think, a lot of what I teach my students is, what kind of a learner are you? And as an adult, I really wish I would have known this in high school. When I read a book, I fall asleep. I'm just out, especially if it's like Grapes of Wrath, right? We all had to read that in high school, like snooze fest.
Wow.
Right.
I mean,
Great
Gatsby, I'll throw one in too.
I did like The Great Gatsby. I mean, but something, that just really isn't your thing. I mean, I would just fall asleep. As an adult, I started doing audiobooks. I'm in a book club, and I was asked, hey, you want to be in a book club? I'm like, not really. I'm busy. I found Audible and I started listening. And it's funny because this is what I do, right? I talk for a living. I do scripts, whatever. It never occurred to me to listen to a book. I'm telling you, it's amazing, because for me, I've learned that I am an audio kinesthetic learner. I remember things and retain information so much better when I'm moving and listening. So for Blinkist, maybe you're the kind of person who is visual and audio. So to be able to read it and listen at the same time, that is going to stick in your brain much, much easier. What do you think you guys are?
I am a visual learner. Absolutely.
So you have to see it.
I have to see it. It drives me nuts. It's just to get into the business side and the back end. We have so many projects happening at one time. I need to see what we call a Gantt chart, of bars that are all overlapping on a calendar. So I know how long things are taking and what's overlapping and where's the busy areas of time.
Sure.
That's how I absorb information. If it's a list, like a table of contents, I don't get it.
Yeah. You need pretty colors and moving
Absolutely.
pieces. And
don't we all? I guess it's just me.
I find that I like to think I'm pretty self-aware, but I don't know which way I'm best. Is there a quick way to find out?
I mean, I guess in different situations it would be different, you know, maybe for to Eric's point, if you're doing something that has a lot of moving pieces, maybe you need to see it.
Is it also just like a preference, like which I'm
Sure.
drawn to? Like, do I
Absolutely.
appreciate the written word or
Right.
seeing a video or hearing something?
Right, exactly. Or maybe you're the kind of person who, you know, kinesthetic would be like, you have to be moving, you have to be writing, you have to be like very hands-on. So it can be a combination of different things, but I think it's interesting to know how you prefer information and then how your children prefer information. You know, that's very helpful in helping them with their learning. But I like these short little snippets because I think if I was listening and heard something, I would say, okay, that's exciting to me. I want to go back and research the full interview, or, you know, maybe read or listen to the full book, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
That's right. All right. I think we got some amazing topics in. Let's do a quick recap as we do.
Yeah. So as we discussed in Pro in the Know, first major film festival to feature podcasts and audio programming.
The Tribeca Film Festival.
You guys going?
Film Festival. Now we have to. You put us on the spot.
Good point, because it is the first in-person major film festival to return since 2020. So that's exciting.
Road trip.
Yeah. And build it, they will come.
I like your style, Rachel, by the way. Build it and they will come. Here we are, 4 walls and 3 people. I don't know. We have built this in every sense of the word, physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and Rachel's here.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
Yeah,
you
thanks
felt
for
the
being
energy.
here. Thanks for sharing your ideas and your knowledge. And then we have you ever?
Right. Is it about the long form as a listener? Have you ever listened to an hour plus show all in one sitting? Maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. Maybe you got a story. Maybe you heard Rogan's whole library. You binged it over the weekend and you just listened back to back. Let us know that too. Because on the other side of that coin, you can really extract 10 to 12 minute chunks in various ways and put that out too.
Yeah, let us know how you listen to podcasts. If you do devote time, an hour, plus of your time to listen to shows. And if you do, what shows are you listening to? I want to listen to them. I want to see what's fascinating about it. So we're getting to the point where we have to wind down and bring in the hosts of the On Air Brands podcast. What's going on?
Todd Genatasio, Amber Furman. Welcome
Hey
in.
guys, what's up?
Hello.
You see what's going on here?
Got a
Hey,
packed
guys.
house.
Yeah, we're back to like old school, like we used to in studio.
I love it. So, another interesting thing about the podcast length that I've seen people doing is that they have their main episode, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever. And then they're doing a short episode, not a snippet of that, but just a separate 10 to 15 minute. So like Lewis Howes, I don't know if he still does it, but he has his super long interviews, but then he does these like 5-minute Fridays. Rick Mulready typically does like an interview style during the week. And then Fridays is quick tip. And it's like 10 minutes. And I think Pat Flynn just started doing something more aligned where he has he interviews a guest on a particular topic during the week on Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever. And then he reflects on the interview on Friday so that he doesn't interject and go down too many rabbit holes during their interview. But then he puts in his 2 cents on Friday, kind of reflecting back and like, hey, based on that topic, here's my experience and, whatever kind of thing like that. So I think that's a way people are probably trying to connect with the long form listeners plus the short form listeners.
And I also want to let our viewers know that coming up on the On Air Brands live show, it will be Amber Furman premiering her brand new hairstyle. Tell us, Amber.
Oh,
this is what happens when I don't have to like run to court and run back and I have like 45 minutes to get everything done. So thanks for noticing, man.
Great.
It doesn't happen very often. Don't get used to it.
So how's everything going with the show? I keep telling you, we're tuning in after this. We debrief and we keep it on like old school radio
Yeah,
station.
WOAB.
WOAB. I love it. That's good. That's good.
I was really excited because I tuned in just at the end as we were I was hearing somebody talk about learning styles,
I knew you were
and
gonna like that
like
one.
oh my gosh, I was so excited. So we are actually going to dig in on the episode today into some NLP techniques that will allow you to
Cool.
connect with your audience and build a more impactful show. So we're really excited for that.
Yep. Very
Excellent.
exciting stuff.
Great. So again, tune in to Facebook and YouTube, 12 p.m. Eastern, and then it is uploaded to the On Air Brands live show feed on your favorite podcast player.
Yep. onairbrands.com/show if you want to check it out on the web.
Yeah. Always good stuff there. Make sure you subscribe to both shows, Podmax and On Air Brands. As we said, all major platforms. Always excited to share ideas. Hopefully, we'll see you at the next Mixer, podmax.co/mixer, each and every Friday, live with our community at 11 Eastern time. So we'll see you there as well. And
We're
thank you
gonna
for
be
tuning in.
Yeah, we're going to be taken out by our new outro, right?
Oh,
yes. So
Fancy.
yeah, we could talk all day about the community. We could talk all day about how we impact the world and help and share ideas, but we'll just let the community do that for us. So we'll see you next week, folks.
Cool. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Rachel, for being here.
Bye.
I think everybody kind of knows or has a feeling that podcasting is like a thing, you know, it's just a matter of how it gets incorporated into their business, into their story.
Where else can you get on an event, like in person or online, and have like this collection of people? Any person that this group and this community attracts just like brings it.
There is no community like the Podmax community, guys.
I love Podmax. I love everything about this environment, this family, and every one of these events. It's just tremendous.
This is our 5th time here, and every time it just gets better and better. I mean, the relationships, the format of the event, and the opportunities to put us in front of people like David, for example.
So we're always open to having deeper and more meaningful conversations one-on-one with each and every one of you to say, all right, how do we help each other? We're all in the same game here. It's life, right? Let's just do it as best as we can and have a blast doing it.
I am just like living off the energy from my 2 interviews this morning, getting pumped for my 3rd interview.
There was just a lot of personality that was brought. There was a lot of deep conversations that I wasn't anticipating. It just created magic.